Hi, I'm Dahlia and this is Jay Hildeman, and we have returned with another edition of the Spotlight on the Arts. What do we have this weekend, Jay?
I have that surprised look there. Well, we're going to get started with a new show at the FST Cabaret, it's Florida Studio Theater's cabaret, called Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves. Now, it's a song, I don't know, maybe you don't remember that hit by Cher, but that's a hint of what the show is. It's about, they had a big hit with two versions of a show called The Prima Donnettes, which were all about girl groups from the 50s to 80s and 90s. And now they're focusing on some of the iconic solo singers from the 50s to today, like Cher, Bette Midler, Aretha Franklin, and quite a few more. And they've got a cast of three, including Janie Jones, who's been in probably a dozen FST cabaret shows over the last, 10 years. And two other performers who are joining her, and it's directed by Catherine Randazzo, and that's going to be running through January 29th, so you've got plenty of time to see that, except the cabaret shows sell really well, so tickets are sometimes difficult, but that's at FST.
Lots of time to check that one out then.
Yeah, a few months.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of other things happening. One of them is only a one afternoon, I should say, performance. It's called, they're calling it Piano Grand, so there's 5 artists playing 5 grand pianos that are going to be set up on the stage at the Sarasota Opera House at 3 o'clock on October 9th, which is Sunday. They're playing works by 13 different composers, and it's really neat because they all have, they're all arranged for 5 different people to play, so the melodies come in and out. And that is featuring Joe Holt, Don Bryn, Rich Ridenour, Andrew Lapp, and Jonathan Spivey.
Very good.
Thank you.
I'm afraid of saying all those names. And on Friday, on October 7th, barring any problems from Hurricane Matthew, is going to be the debut of the Bradenton Symphony Orchestra, which is a new organization. It's been put together with some college students from State College of Florida, where it's based, and community musicians and professional musicians. And their first program is called Surprise, and it's going to be featuring a new jazz professor, Pete Carney, who's just joined the faculty there. So they're going to be performing at the Neal Performing Arts Center and launching a whole new series of programs, and so that's something new for us to experience.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure we'll hear more from them in the future.
Yeah. We'll be taking a listen to them probably later down the road. We'll give them a few concerts to get some experience with the audience in the hall before we send one of our critics to assess how they're doing.
Another thing opening up this weekend is called Old Florida, where 3 Ringling College alumni, Joseph Arnager, Tim Yeager, and Tom Stevens are coming together and doing a exhibition of their artworks at the Longboat Key Center for the Arts that opens Friday. It's called Old Florida because it features, a lot of kind of art about what Florida used to be like, the old community, small places, beach towns, things like that. So that opens on Friday, and it will run till November 11th. So you can check that out as well.
And since we're talking about history, then we can also consider the next show, which is Assassins, which is going to be running at the Free Fall Theater in St. Petersburg through November 6th. It's opening this weekend. And it's a musical by John Weidman and Stephen Sondheim about presidential assassins and would-be assassins, people who try to kill them, and what links them, the common issues of what led them to try to kill the president or to actually succeed, and politics and personal problems. And it's kind of disturbing, but also kind of fascinating look at the problems. And the director, Chris Crawford, said it's, even though the show's over 20 years old, it's almost more contemporary now with all the problems that we've got going on. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And later this month, the Manatee Players is going to be doing their own production of the same show. So I'll get to see it twice in 3 weeks.
Wait, is that a serious show or like a comedic spin on?
Well, there's comedic elements. There's only so much humor you can have when you're talking about assassinations, but there are comedic aspects to it, and it's satirical and disturbing and kind of informative too. So
sounds perfect for the.
And Free Fall is one of my favorite theaters these days, so they always do inventive work.
There's also some new stuff happening. The group is called New Ensemble SRQ, which has been gaining some ground recently, but they're just now starting their first official full season. The first concert of the official full season is called Locals, and it's on Monday at the First Congregational Church. As you might guess, it features local composers, local musicians, and local works. So everything has to do with Sarasota. There's a piece called Sandpipers that was inspired by Longboat Key, and Francis Schwartz, who's a very well-known local composer, is doing a work called Loneliness, which will be played on the violin, clarinet, piano, but also includes some kind of public interaction, so that could be interesting. They've got a really neat season lined up, I think, so that should be pretty cool to check out. Tickets are $20. It's an hour. Might as well give it a shot.
Why not? I could also, we both saw shows this week, and I can recommend Gypsy, which our colleague Carrie Seaman reviewed last week while I was on my way to my high school reunion, but I did see it this week. And I can highly recommend Ellie Pattison, who plays Mama Rose. She just gives a dynamic performance, and so it's a great show to begin with, but she hasn't been on stage here locally in a long time, so I really enjoyed seeing her. And you got to see Toxic Avenger.
I did. I went down to Venice last night and saw Toxic Avenger, which is really hard to describe. It is an 80s comedic twist on a superhero story. He gets dumped in a vat of toxic waste and comes out a superhero bent on saving the world. It is a little crude humor, a little bit of politically incorrect jokes, I suppose. I didn't much care for the humor, but I know that a lot of people like that kind of thing. So if you're into kind of Avenue Q, Book of Mormon kind of comedy, then I would definitely go check out this show.
And you like the people in it, too.
I did like the people in it. The acting was very, very good, and the singing, too.
Good. I'm hoping to get down to see that. This weekend in the arts section, we're getting ready for REOFF, which is the Ringling International Arts Festival, which runs October 13th to 16th, and we've got several articles previewing some of the acts that are coming up there, and we're going to have some other things for you to look at, so keep an eye out on the arts section, the ticket section, and Thursday's Herald-Tribune, the daily newspaper for all our reviews, and online at heraldtribune.com/arts. And with that, we're going to leave you, and we'll see you next week.